given us. Let us rejoice and be glad that we're in it. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
And I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to the online people that are watching us from the chapel here. And also to the congregation, everybody came out for Mother's Day. Isn't this wonderful? Just greet your friends and tell them you're glad that they're here, and so are we. Well, if everybody would just join us in prayer. And we are so thankful, Heavenly Father, that we can come together and celebrate this Mother's Day together with all of our wonderful people in chapel. We want you to remember that we send our love to those mothers, grandmothers, all of the caregivers that have looked after us throughout the years that are in spirit. We give our love and blessing to all those ones that are still with us on the earth plane, and we ask that you bless them as they carry out all those wonderful things that help us be all that we can be. Amen. Okay, be seated. Maureen Lum, one of my my ministers in training, is going to be your chairperson this week. I'm not going to be the Abraham this week, so Maureen, would you like to come up?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Barbara. And a very special welcome to everyone here. And it is Mother's Day today, and we have a special service for you. And first of all, what I'd like to do is thank all of those who, without their help, all the volunteers in the church, the chapel here, we wouldn't be here. And especially for this morning, we have Celia, who is our music minister. With her, she helps raise our voices and increase the energy in this chapel, and it's just lovely just to hear everyone sing from up here. So it's quite an honor for me to be up here on the platform this morning, because it just raises the energy, and it's amazing. And also, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues, ministers in training, Derrick, Whiteskycloud, and Lynn, for all the support, and we're working together to have this chapel happen for you, and I'm quite honored. And I also am quite honored to have Reverend Joyce Leonard and Reverend Gloria and James Brock here. I'm highly honored to be in their company in this chapel as well. Okay, now what I'm going to ask that we stand and sing song number 4, just a closer walk. But as Barbara had mentioned earlier, this is a very special service, and Mother's Day will be a special time to honor all mothers. And Barbara's address will be about those mothers God sent her to help make her life all it could be. After the address, she will invite you to join her in lighting a candle, which we have set up at the front here, and to give a special prayer for those special mothers in our lives. And at this time, I ask Barbara to come forward and speak to us.
Well, this is a wonderful day. This is a day that we celebrate mothers and just exactly what mothers are all about. So I have a little card here that I got from my youngest daughter. And it says, I feel so proud to be your daughter, and when I hear other people talk about their mothers, I always want to tell them about you, about the way that you are there for me, and whenever I need anything, about the way you understand me, encourage me, and believe in me, and about all the things that you do to make my life a wonderful one. And I received this from my wonderful daughter yesterday because she had breakfast with us. Whoa. And I'm just going to move this out of the range of fire here, I think. And when we had breakfast yesterday morning, she gave me the card, and inside it says she wants to spend one special day with me, taking me shopping at my favorite store for a nice little gift, etc., and spend the day with me. And because I have 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren, it's a pleasure to get time with one child alone. And when you consider there's also the in-laws and the outlaws and all the rest that go along with it, right? So I thought this was a wonderful gift for me to be able to spend one day with this daughter. And then I got thinking about what Mother's Day really meant to me, and I realized that, like a lot of people, my mother didn't necessarily fit that little peg that says mother is. Now my girls and my boys, they seem to think that I fit that peg, that mother is loving and kind and self-sacrificing and all those words that universally we tag on mother. But I look back on my own natal mother, and she didn't really fit all of those things because she had different edges on her facets of her life. And she wasn't exactly the same kind of mother as what they wrote a lot of these cards about. And so as a youngster, if I were to go and pick a card out, I would have to pick something out that I would put something nice on there, but I couldn't really take a generic card like that and know that it was going to fit my mother. As a lot of people that are out there cannot take a generic card and say that's going to fit their mother. But my mother was this. My mother was to me what she was supposed to be. She is the mother that I picked when I was in spirit to come into the life with that mother in the life garden. And I picked her to be my mother because she would be the person who would give me what I needed in my life. And as I got older, I realized that a lot of times some of the sadness that I had when I would see cards like this, and my mother didn't quite fit it, and I used to feel in my heart, well, what's wrong with me that my mother isn't this same universal mother that loves all their children in such a way that they self-sacrifice and they do all these wonderful things, and my mother just wasn't that type of mother. But what my mother was is a brilliant woman, a real attractive lady that probably, to be truthful, should have been out in the world of commerce. She was an intelligent woman. And when she was at work, everybody who met her loved her. She was a charmer. She could talk to anybody, from the bag lady on the street to the lawyers and the doctors or whoever, the professor from the university. My mother could talk to them and they would find her very charming. And all of her nieces and nephews thought that Nana, Mabel as they called her, was wonderful. But unfortunately, she was not the generic mother. But what she did bring to me is a lot of knowledge, a lot of goodness. The first 5 years of my life, I was basically an only child. And the first 5 years was wonderful, but I got a wide awakening by the time I was 6, when the war broke out. My father was no longer there. My mother wasn't home most of the time. And I was moved from different family to different family. And I thought back on that as I got older. I know in my younger years I used to kind of take kind of a negative attitude about that. I didn't talk about it. I always smiled, always bouncy, always tried to have a good personality and be the nice person. But inside my heart, I always had this feeling that if my mother couldn't love me enough to be that generic mother, then there must be something wrong with me, because it must be something wrong with the child. So it took a long time before I got to the point that I realized that I had a benefit. That this was the mother I chose, because this was how I was going to be taken from place to place, from parent to parent, have 6 sets of parents to be able to look at my life and be able to be thankful for what I learned from each home that I lived in. And I'll tell you, I can write just a book about all the wonderful things that I did learn, starting with my mother and my father in my native home, and going on to my Auntie Alva, who had 3 children of her own, and then when she was expecting her 3rd child, it was just too much to have 3 other youngsters running around, and I went to my Auntie Vi. And my Auntie Vi was a homemaker, a lovely woman that taught me how to bake and cook and smell those wonderful smells in the kitchen. Mind you, she didn't teach me to cook. She taught me about cooking and about loving and being a homemaker. Whereas Auntie Alva, where I came back to live with again, Auntie Alva was a survivor. Auntie Alva was a wonderful mother, but she was a survivor. Not only by this time did she have 3 children of her own, under 8 years old, 8 years and under, but she also took me at 8 years old, and she had 4 of us. And lots of times, because her husband was overseas, there wasn't a lot of money in those days coming from the armed forces, and she had to be very creative in how she could keep us all fed and shoes on our feet. And I can remember one particular Christmas, she wanted to give us a really good Christmas, and she went to work for 6 weeks on a night shift, looked after us all day, and did a night shift. Got home at 7 o'clock in the morning, got the older ones off to school, looked after the young ones, till the older ones, which were 8 years old, we were old, right? Then we came home, and we would look after the younger ones while she got a bit of a sleep. And then she would go back on the graveyard shift again and do the same thing from 11 to 7. Did that for 6 weeks so she could buy my cousin and I some shoes and some boots, hopefully, because we were living in Ontario and we were walking with cardboard in our shoes to get to school because the holes were that big in the bottom of the shoes, and walking home with the free paper that the school board gave us, stuffing the shoe because we wore the cardboard out on the way to school. So my auntie was really concerned about us going through the winter without having shoes and galoshes. Unfortunately, she couldn't afford to buy shoes and boots for both of us, so she bought us ski boots, which her daughter hated with passion, and I was just thankful to get them. But my cousin Maureen, I bless her in spirit, because she shared everything that she had with her mother and with her from her sister and brothers, shared those people with me. And this auntie mothered me, and I learned survival skills. I learned that sometimes you have to be a survivor. You have to figure a way to make it, even if that does mean that you don't get enough sleep. And we had a wonderful Christmas. She carted 4 of us downtown to watch the Christmas parade. 3 buses or streetcars transferred to go downtown. To get in front row, we had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, haul all the food, all the baby's diapers and everything with us. And what a mother. Just put us in the front row so we could see Santa's parade. Then drag us from there to Eaton's and see Santa and get our free gift from Santa, whatever that might be, and tell Santa what we wanted for Christmas. And then bring us home, and that was a whole day thing. At 5 o'clock at night, we finally got home. Walking, carrying all the stuff down there, and the 2 little kids, my aunt just couldn't leave them walk, so we kind of made a seat for the one and carried her home, and my aunt carried the other one, and we got home happy campers. So that's being a mother, isn't it? And this is an aunt who is a mother. Then I went from there, and I went to a foster home when my dad got back from overseas, and they were friends of my father. And I found what it was like to have working parents and having grandparents downstairs that got us off to school in the morning. But we had working parents, so my foster sister and I had little chores that we had to do, learn to do our washing and ironing because the mom of the family didn't have time for that. But she loved us and she cared for us, and her husband loved us and cared for us. My dad would come in and out and take me places, but still wasn't old enough to be living with my dad. Then when I was old enough to maybe be living with my dad with a little supervision, I went to one of his sisters where he was living and learned how to survive with an auntie who had no help whatsoever. She was a lovely lady, a beautiful woman, never said a bad word about anybody, but her husband and her boys just abused mentally and used her good nature. And what did I learn there? I learned that I could be a lovely, wonderful person, but I couldn't afford to enable people to abuse my good nature. So went from there to my dad's other sister out here in British Columbia. And my dad and I came out. My auntie had been widowed. She had a couple of 3 children, but 2 of them were married. One daughter that was 4 years younger than I was, whose name was Barb, by the way. It was quite interesting in the next 4 years while we were dating, because somebody would phone up and say, can I speak to Barbara, please? And we'd know it wasn't our boyfriend, but we'd say, speaking. And fortunately, her husband, the fellow she married, and Ozzy were the only 2 that could tell the difference. And so they'd say, give us the other Barbara. And so my auntie there was widowed, and I found what it was like to live as a widowed woman with 2 young teenage girls and try to survive and do all the things that a widow had to do. So there was another mother for me. But are mothers always women? Are your mothers always women? No. There's a lot of mentors that are mothers that are in your life as well. And you want to take a look at that. And I can remember when I went to this foster home with the mother I had there, Elsie. And I went to school, and I was in grade 5, the tail end of grade 5. And I was nearly failing it for the second time. I went into grade 6, being pushed into the class to serve with love, if you've ever seen that show. And we were the orangutans, the lost ones, the forgotten ones that were never going to amount to anything. And our teacher, Mr. Pickering, came into the class. And there was another great mother for me, because he taught me more about life in the 2 years I was in his class in grade 6 and grade 7. More about life and more about self-value and more about everybody is unique and has a talent, and that you find what you do the best and do the best at what you do. A man 50 years probably ahead of his time. So I honor Mr. Pickering as well as one of my mentors or one of my mothers. And then I have to take a look at my father. Now my father, from the day I was born, thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. Not unusual. But he had to take the mother role when he returned back from overseas. And so when it came to dating and things to do with the little teenage things that you have to ask questions about and you have to know about, it was my father that mothered me through those teenage years and talked to me about what was going to be going through my body, what kind of responses I was going to be having, what it was going to be like to be dating, and how to handle situations in the dating field. And maybe I was lucky because I had a man's point of view. And so it served me well. So look at all the mothers now that I have. I was very fortunate. I am glad that I chose the way I did when I came from Spirit to go the pathway that I did, because each of those people who mothered me, including my mother-in-law, as I married Ozzy, because she brought a wonderful man into my life. Without her, I wouldn't have him, including his grandmother, his wonderful grandmother, who taught me how to iron shirts like they were laundered in the laundry, right, Ozzy? How you iron a shirt properly. It's funny, you know, every time I iron a shirt, I don't forget that his grandmother taught me how to iron a shirt. I think about my own grandmother, the only grandmother that was alive when I was born, and I think about the wonderful year that I spent with her when I was 14. The last summer that I managed to spend up there, and I had the whole 2 months to spend with her. And I really found out what a courageous person she was, because she'd lived in the same house all her life. She'd raised her children, lost a few, buried a few, but raised the children that she had, living children to adulthood, to have grandchildren and whatnot. Never had electricity in her house. Got her water from the well, washed her clothes, including her great big flannel sheets, over her scrub board, and squeezed those out and hung them on the line. And at that time, my grandmother was 85 years old. And I look at the pioneering spirit that she had and things that came down in my genetics, and thank God for those wonderful things that the mothers have brought to me. So look around you and not only bless the mother that brought you into this world, because whatever that mother was, whether she suits the card or she has a few little funny little movements on the outside and doesn't quite get into that pigeonhole, she is who she's supposed to be for you. She is exactly who she was supposed to be for you, so that you came into this world and that you learned from exactly what she was. And for all those other mothers and all those mentors and all the spiritual mothers that I had, right from the First Lady that helped me understand what this was all about, all the way up to the teachers that I had, both in the science teachers, which was male teachers, all to the female teacher that taught me mediumship, and even to Gloria Bruff, who's sitting here today, Reverend Gloria Bruff, who has been a sister in spirit throughout the last 30 years that we have been sisters in spirit. They all have been mothers to me, as everybody have been mothers to you. And now I'm looking forward to my young Mets coming up, who are teaching me, as my children are, new things. And the one thing I do find, though, as I get older, that my children have become my mother. How many of you here find that your children are now your mother? They have better ideas about what you should be doing with your life. And I don't know how we managed to get to 70 some odd years old without that knowledge, but now my children have become my mother. But you know what? I love it. And I love every one of my sisters in spirit, every one of my friends that have been there to help me along the way. Thank you. God bless.
Barbara is now going to light a candle, and we invite you
like to just come up and say a little prayer for their mothers, their mentors, and light a candle. And Derrick will help on that side. And I don't know if this music.
Sitting down. How do you read?
I finally got to that point where I figured it out.
I got that many Sundays. I'm not sure to see. Why not?
I lit the remaining of the candles for the mothers who sent their sons to war. Okay.
That's for the boys and girls that can't get home to light a candle.
Thank you. Now I'd like to say a special prayer. I'd like to thank and this special prayer I'd like to say for all the mothers out there, and especially for all the moms that have passed on into the Lord's special garden in this last year. And we remember you and we thank you for all the gifts that you shared with us and allowing us to enhance our lives with those gifts that you shared with us. They will continue and be able to spread all that love that you have given us. Thank you, Jesus. That was a very special presentation given by Barb, and I thank you. I was sitting here and was really going through my thoughts, thinking of what's happening in today's world, how technology has changed the world, and life seems to be so busy. It hit home for me yesterday because my children, they travel all the world with their work lives. And I had a very special day yesterday with my daughter, which I only get to see maybe 2 or 3 times out of the year, like a day. And it was so special to me. And for all of those that are listening to us and all of you folks in the congregation, treasure your moments with your children, with your family members. As a mom, it's life experience, which I'm still learning. I'm learning from my kids who are teaching me, and it's just awesome. And I'm also learning from my grandchildren as well, so, which is a beautiful gift from my children. And just wanted to let you know what Barbara was presenting to you all this morning. It's just so true. It just hits home, and we do learn. We not only learn from, I've learned a lot from my mother, from my own children, but also from my friends, their parents. It's amazing. When you walk into their home, what you learn from each and what you take home with you, it's a gift. So just to let you know that, just to treasure each moment that you're here. Okay, now we're going to come to a special part of our service, which makes us quite different from other Orthodox churches. Is the healing service that we have during our service. And also, we ask that those who would like to have healing, there is a designated area at So I do ask at this time, if you wish to receive communion, to go to the back of the room and ask our leaders at this time so that we can see over there.
Comfortable position and take your thoughts inward and upward to a little spot in the universe where God resides and healing begins. Allow the energy to move through the tips of your toes, moving upwards or around and round the body. Allow it to come up through the top of the head and flow over the body like a gentle summer rain. As you breathe in again, feel the energy bringing alive all the cells in the body that work together with all of the organs. And allow those organs to be like a wonderful symphony concert orchestra that play their instruments independently, but they play with such harmony and such rhythm that they are working for the whole beauty of the piece they are playing. And as you breathe the energy in and revitalize all of the energies in the body, in the cells, and the organs, know that you are doing that to bring healing to the whole. And as the energy comes in again through the tips of the toes, allow it to expand into the mind. Let the mind open and be receptive. Let the mind be positive and be healthy, so that it may touch the dreams, the ideas that God has to make you all that you can be. Allow those dreams, those thoughts, those energies to come through the mind to healthy growth, so that they will grow and produce the dream that God has for you. Breathing in again, allow yourself to come in touch with the Spirit, that part of yourself that is always perfect. And allow the Spirit to communicate to the mind and the body what it needs for this journey that it is having in this physical existence. And as you have healed your own self, body, mind, and spirit, be like a pebble in a great pond of energy, and allow your energy to move forward and ripple outward, and let it touch each member in the room. And joining together, allowing the energy to draw through everyone to facilitate the healing. Taking a deep breath now, think about outside of this room into the community of your family, the community around you, of your teachers and your leaders, and allow that energy to ripple out and touch all of them, so that they too may experience the wonderful healing, the wonderful peace. Allow that energy now to go forward into the world and not only touch the world's leaders, but to touch the animals, the vegetation, the waters, the atmosphere, so that they may be healed. And let us be thankful to the animals and the vegetation and the minerals that give of themselves and serve us so greatly and feed us so well. Allow us now to reach out into the universe, into other parts of the universe that we are not familiar with, for many mansions in God's world that we are not aware of every room in every mansion. But we send love and we send caring, for God promises us that love and healing is never ending. And all we need to do is ask, and the energy will follow the intention of the thought, and the healing will begin. Now, as we circle back to the seat of the soul, take a few moments just to sit quietly before you come back to your everyday workaday world, to enjoy the tranquility and the peace of the healing area of your garden, the inner garden of healing. And know that you may visit here at any time, and God has promised the love and the healing is never ending. So open your hearts, your mind, and your hand. God bless you, and He sends His angels to keep after you.
and there's going to be lots of fun. We're going to have not only a jumble sale, a bake sale, we're also going to have a silent auction as well. And we'll, for the children, and we are encouraging that if you have children, young children, grandchildren, please have them come because we're going to have magic here for the children. George Cook will be here between 11 and 2, and we're going to have the hot dogs, and we're going to have lots of food here, so I do encourage you to come. And also, we're going to have a tea room set up where there's going to be mini teacup readings as well, and we're going to have psychic demonstrations for fun and enjoyment, and we're anticipating a very fun day. And also, we're going to have very special guests that will be joining us as well, and it will be Rosemary Phillips. And she will have a sing-along, and quite an enjoyable musician. And for those who have been here in the past, she's been here, and she'll be also joining us for the Sunday service as well. And she's going to be with us, and she's the author of the One Seed Storybook, which is quite enjoyable. And also at this time, I ask if anyone would like to help with the bazaar, please let either Reverend Barbara or myself know. We're always looking for help, so we're looking towards our big day, and that's for next Saturday. And the next thing we have here is let you know if anyone has a birthday or an anniversary. Oh,
I have Mother's Day.
you do have Mother's Day. Would you like to say to Mother's Day, Barbara?
That's what you send to mothers. That's okay.
time, I ask that you please make sure your cell phones are turned off. And I'm going to ask Reverend Barb to come forward.
Thank you, everybody. Let's see if we have any Mother's Day messages. Before I do the clairvoyance, I'd like to thank those people who have kindly donated towards Yvonne's Angel Fund. Now, Yvonne Colasanti is in the hospital quite ill. She's not only had a visit at the hospital in February, but she also is back in now, had been on dialysis for quite a few weeks and got her off of dialysis and trying to stabilize, but they also had to do another surgery last Friday. So thank you for the people that are donating towards that. Anybody who still cares to, for the next week, we will, up until the bazaar, we will be taking some money to help her get back on her feet and maybe give her a little comfort when she gets home. So you can just write it out to Balance Point, same as your other checks, but put on the body of it Yvonne's Angel Fund, and then I know, and it will be credited back to you at the end of the year as well as a donation. Okay? So thank you so much, and that was really good. We've come up with not bad for considering we're a small congregation, so that's really wonderful. Now this is Mother's Day, so let's see if we're going to get some mothers in, or daughters, as a matter of fact. Phyllis, your daughters are here. Yeah, and they're saying Happy Mother's Day. They, you don't doubt that they're around you from first thing this morning. They're rambling around trying to get your attention, and they're saying too that they're feeling so glad that you're getting back on your feet and that you're feeling better. Okay. Yeah, and they've been doing everything they can from that side to see that that happens. They're saying that they're not ready for you to join them yet, so you've got a lot more work to do down here, and particularly as a supportive mother figure in the family, you still are needed there, and that isn't unusual because you've been a mother since you were a kid, weren't you? You're always looking after, caretaking other people, and they say that you were blessed for that. That's what you came into the world to be, and you're a blessing to the people that you've been around. I'm also getting, I believe it's your mother coming through now, and she's saying, yes, you were a wonderful daughter to have, and that many times that you did things that were very helpful to help her. And she's saying she loves you. The girls are bringing in pink roses. We've got these artificial flowers so that they don't die, but they're bringing in the same color but in roses for you, and they're placing it on your lap. So that's wonderful. And they're saying, say hi to sisters and brothers, so that they want to say hi to the family too. Just standing back from this is Wolf. And he's standing at the very back, and he's coming forward now, and he says, you've been a wonderful wife and a wonderful mother, so he wanted to come in and have something to say too. So very lovely blessing for your Mother's Day. God bless you. Gloria, your mother has come in, and I feel very strongly what she wants you to know is that she and your dad are together there. I imagine you have seen them together there. And that there was a tremendous bond there, and although there were other things that your dad went on with his life, which he had to do, that bond between the two of them has always been very strong, and they've always loved each other really deeply. And they say as they have loved you, and they also are watching over your grandchildren. They just, your dad is in here now, and he's saying, you know how I used to like to go in the room and look at Debbie. He likes to go in the room and look at the children while they're sleeping. He just likes to see them while they're sleeping and just be there. And just like he did with Debbie when he used to like to go in and kind of sneak in quietly even when she was sleeping and observe it. And he said he's here and thinks her really well, and Happy Mother's Day to you as well. God bless you. Okay. Lori, I have a gentleman that's coming through in spirit, and he's saying that basically, and I'm saying the grandfather here, I think, and he's saying that he basically was one of your moms.
Oh, good.
He maybe here would not like to have been accused of being ladylike, but he was one of the ones that kind of mentored you and was really warm, kind of gentleman. Do you know which grandpa it was?
Well, I didn't know the one grandpa,
Yeah.
and the grandpa, I think it is John, Grandpa John or Jack,
Yeah.
both names,
Yeah.
died when I was 3.
When you were 3. Well, he mentored you when you were younger. I guess he loved you that's like as if you were one of his own. He kind of really did. And in spirit, it probably has been a mother, a
Yes.
figure to you from spirit is what is going on here. I don't think it's the one that died before. I think it's the one that had some connection with you here on a physical level, although I don't say the other grandpa isn't there. But this one's saying, I loved her like I was her mother. You know, I just like to bring that loving and mentoring to her. And the interesting thing he's saying too, that you got a lot of his genes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot come down the genetic strain that are talents and abilities that he had that have come down to you, and that is his way of passing on the good things that were with him onto you. So he kind of had that connection, that close connection with you. So that's really wonderful. The other thing that I'm seeing is a lot smoother sailing for you this coming year.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he's saying it's going to be smoother sailing. And I can almost see like as if there was a boat out in the water and the white sails are up and it's just, sun is shining and it's nice sailing. It's like I'm out sailing, I'm just having a great time. So I think that's what he's saying for the next year for you. Things are really going that direction. So God bless you. And he basically says keep up your mothering as well, because you do a lot more than the average mom.
Thank you very much.
He does. God bless you. Derrick, your mother is definitely here. Your father is not far behind her either. You know, the two of them aren't far apart. And we all know that we want to give blessings to Derrick this year. It's been a tough year. He lost both his parents within the very short months of each other. And your mother died just before Mother's Day last year. And she's coming through and just chatter. She's, you know, if I let her, she'd just stay here all day and chat. She really wants you to know, though, that she loves you and that she is really watching over Marina a lot. You know, that she's around in the kitchen when Marina's doing things, and she watches over Marina a lot, especially when you have to be away a lot, do things away from home. She's there looking after Marina and keeping Marina company, so that's really good. And what is it with one of the cats? Was there something to do with a cat with her that was very special? Something to do with one of the cats or kittens? Something to do with cats or kittens that she was... Pardon me? It's just like she's making me aware of the kittens, the cats in your house. You know? So maybe if all of a sudden they kind of, if they kind of have this, they're very quiet and all of a sudden they're chasing each other like crazy, she's stirring it up. Yeah, she's stirring it up. She wants them to let you know that she's there, so she stirs it up when that happens. So just know that when the cats all of a sudden have been very quiet, and all of a sudden they just go like something has kicked them to move, and they're chasing each other like crazy cats. That's her. She's there when that's happening. So that's really wonderful. So God bless you, Derrick. She's very proud of the work that you're doing, by the way, and she likes how you've grown into the man that you've grown. Although sometimes when you were younger, she wondered if you'd ever grow up. Yeah, just kind of the eternal kid, she said. He was kind of like the Peter Pan of the family, but it's like you've grown up to be quite a great gentleman as far as she's concerned. She's very proud of that. Okay. God bless you. Yeah. And Grace. Hi. I have a lady in spirit with you, and I believe it's your mom that's coming through, although it could be a grandmother, so I'm just going to go with it being your mom. And she is really drawing in close right now with you. She's, I don't know if she hasn't made a lot of communication. Has she not made a lot of communication since she's passed with you?
She made some.
Has she made some? Because she's all really excited about being here. And it might be because of the day, of it being the Mother's Day. And she's saying that she moves, you know how the two of you are together, she's the third musketeer. She's with you guys all the time. And you may not be aware of it, but whenever you're going to do something together, she's the third person there. And she's with you everywhere that you go. And I didn't charge her, but she attended that class. We'll have to watch that next time, Lois. Next class, we'll check out if there's free seats to be taken out. No. God bless her. You know, she's really learns a lot in spirit. She's really encouraging you guys to continue on with your work because she's really. I think when she went over to spirit, she just didn't really know exactly what she was going to find when she went there. But she was well surprised when she got there. Because she says, oh, I just walked, and there was this beautiful gate, and it was like a big open garden, and she was just like awestruck when she first went over. And then she's just so happy to be there, and she's like to hang out with you guys a lot. So we don't have to have any place to go and see her for Mother's Day. She's with you anyway. So.
And yesterday was her birthday.
Pardon?
And yesterday was her birthday. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's wonderful. So God bless you guys and for, sending that love to her because that really connects down the line. I'd love to give a message to everybody, but unfortunately we don't have the time to do that. I'm a little bit over the time now, but I'd like to go with the lady with the turtleneck sweater. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. And I have two people that are coming through here. One looks like he looks like he would be an age of a brother or a cousin on the same level as what you are. So we're talking about one in spirit that would be about the same age as you are now when he passed through the spirit. Yeah, and a young man. So I'm almost thinking he might be either a brother or a cousin or a really close situation there. And the other one is a lady, and as I look at her, it looks to me as if she may be related to this young man. She's bringing him in with her. So this is an auntie that's coming in that was close to you when you were younger. Can you recognize that?
I haven't lost any of my aunties.
Pardon me?
I haven't lost any of my aunties.
You don't have any aunts?
That have passed, no.
They haven't passed on?
No.
Okay.
My dad has, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm going to go to the lady ahead of you. Excuse me. The lady with the glasses on. Hi. Would you recognize a young man in spirit that would have been a son of one of your aunties?
Not a young man, but a daughter. My cousin was 6 weeks younger than me.
She was 6
She was 6 weeks younger than me. She
Than
died
you.
in her early 30s.
Now, did she have a son, though?
No.
Okay, now I'm looking for, what I've got here is a lady in spirit, and it's her son, and it seems like the son is on the same level with the person. Okay, so I don't know who I've got here, but I'm just going to leave it at that and see what comes up besides that. Let's go back to the lady next to you that way. Yeah, can you recognize that? You can. Okay, well, I don't know what this guy's doing there. Do you recognize it? Oh, we're going all around the circle around you. So Ingrid, you recognize that you have an aunt that passed away and a cousin that would have been around the same age as what you were when he passed. Like he would have been, he'd be your age now if he hadn't passed away, right? Okay, let's see what they want. I mean, they're jumping all over here.
Barbara, I'm getting that it's for you.
For me? Okay, well, we'll see if there's a me too with this. So Ingrid, what this young cousin, you knew him quite well. correct?
Not really. He lived in Sweden and I didn't see much of him.
So, but, okay, what about with the aunt? Were you close with the aunt? Yeah. I'm not getting it. Maybe it is for me. I'll go on from that. I'll just leave that one because I don't know where that one's coming from, and maybe they'll clarify what's going on. See, it happens to the best of us. We never know what's going on up here. Okay, I'll give one more message, and Lynn, what I'm getting with you is a gentleman that is coming from Spirit, and he's coming in really, really strong. He had very direct ideas, very determined man. When he made his mind up to something, you didn't sway him. He did see point A, point B, almost like, you can tell an Aries, but you can't tell him much. And whatever he was going after, he went straight after. And he is saying that this is what you need to do right now. Just go straight after what it is that you put your goal ahead of you. Don't look at the flowers on the wayside at this time. This is a time from point A to point B, and concentrate on that area. Don't allow distractions on either side to be taking you away from what your main goals are. And it will be a short period of time, because nobody should do that on a long period of time, he said. Because it's like a farmer, if he keeps putting the same stuff back in, he'll burn out. But for a short period of time, you do need that concentration, and maybe it's a good idea to just be able to learn the word no. If some people are trying to get you off the pathway of where you're going. Okay? Do you understand that? Okay, God bless you. I don't know who this gentleman is and who the lady is in Spirit, but it's yours? Oh, Derrick. Okay, so it was an aunt and a cousin? Okay.
My cousin died young. He had a heart attack in the field. His mother.
Yeah, and he would be about the same age as you if he was still.
Was my aunt.
Yeah, and he would be about your age if he was still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I don't think he has communicated before. Is what.
No, it's the first time.
What the problem might be with him. So let's see what he's doing. Okay, now it's really interesting with him because he's taking me up to the reservation that you've been working on in Alberta. Okay, he's taking me up there, and there is one elder there that is going to take you aside and have a really intense talk about doing some other kind of training. And he's saying, take it if you can, if you choose to, of course. Can't tell you what to do, but he's saying, take it. It's going to be so valuable that it will be helpful in your work. Okay? So,
I just started to talk about it.
Pardon me?
I just started to talk about it.
Yeah. And so this elder is going to work closely teaching you something. Working with
a power dancer.
Yeah. Okay. That's great, everybody. Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day, and have a good day. Isn't that wonderful?
I do have a message. Actually, it's for my sister, and I've been sitting here, and I have this heaviness on my shoulder, and I have to give it to her. So, Mara, Dad has come in. First thing he wants to say to you that he loved you. He's always loved you. He would like you to get in touch with your grandson. He doesn't want you to lose out. He would really like you to do that.
Great. My bits are doing very well, I think.
Anyways, I just wonderful service, and I'd like to thank everyone for your generous support in coming to our chapel. thanking all the facilitators and our volunteers, and for all the guidance that estimates are being given by not only by Barbara, but also other reverends who come and that service our mentors as well in the community. At this time, what we will ask that there will be a closing prayer. We're going to form a circle and we'll sing number 48, That We Can Peace. And after that, it's asked if they want to help out the ministers and refreshments after the service. We'll be right in chat.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for bringing each person here today, for all the spirits that came in from the Spirit to bring us the joy on Mother's Day with just the message that we need.
Because I'm getting crowded on the wall.